So, my friends, contemporary research on religious identity in America indicates that the nuns are increasing rapidly, and so are the duns. And there's a growing category now of nothing in particular. But rather than accepting this falling away from faith as inevitable in our postmodern age, my book, Faith for the Heart, proposes that we recraft our whole approach, and especially by way of educating in Christian faith. Now, of course, we must always engage people's heads, their critical reason, their minds. Faith needs to be grounded in personal conviction and persuasion. But I'm convinced that we can do better with this generation if we begin with and engage the deepest longings of their hearts, people's souls. So, what would be the heart of Christian faith that might appeal to doubting or even closed hearts in our time? Well, the Catechism of the Catholic Church notes wisely that our faith is made up of dogmas and doctrines, creeds and codes, symbols and sacraments, rules and regulations. And yet, at the core of it all, that great diversity, the Catechism gives a powerful summary. It says, at the heart, we find a person, the person of Jesus of Nazareth, the only Son from the Father. Now note the emphasis on both the Jesus of history, that carpenter fellow who walked the roads of Galilee, who was also the Christ of faith, the Son of God, the divine presence in human history as one of ourselves. And faith for the heart honors both, because we must honor both, all united in the one person. And yet it focuses particularly on the historical Jesus as the most appealing aspect of Christian faith for our time, and that it needs remedial work. We need, Catholics especially, need remedial work in Jesus. Now, I don't want to go too far afield here, but one reason is all the old catechisms, the Maynooth Catechism, the Baltimore Catechism, and all those catechisms, they were all based on the Apostles' Creed. So they took each article of the creed and catechized it with question and answer format. Okay, but note, the creed jumps from born of the Virgin Mary to suffered under Pontius Pilate. And so, since the creed skipped over the public life of Jesus, the old catechisms did the same. There was literally no catechesis on the historical Jesus in the traditional catechism. Oh, lots of the Son of God and Lord and Savior, but nothing on that carpenter. Now, of course, we're doing better since Vatican II, and the prime agenda of Pope Francis' pontificate is to turn Catholic people to the Gospels, which he constantly quotes. But I think we still have ground to make up on Jesus. And that's what I hope Faith for the Heart can do for you. Turn you and your heart toward Jesus, because that's where your heart belongs. And what an extraordinary appeal the historical Jesus can have for people's hearts in every age, including our own. His announcing of God's reign of fullness of life for all people and creation, his working miracles to feed the hungry, cure the sick, drive out evil, his embodying of God's boundless mercy, justice, and compassion for all, his greatest commandment of love, to love God by loving our neighbor as ourselves, even enemies, the inclusivity of his table fellowship with all welcome, and the list goes on. And all of this to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now, this is a biased opinion, of course, but I think you will enjoy Faith for the Heart. And I've sprinkled reflective questions throughout so that you can have good conversation, not just at the end, but along the way. Colleagues who have used it tell me that it's an ideal text for teaching undergrad theology, and also for adult education programs in a parish or a community, or just for personal reading and reflection. It might be especially helpful for people from a Catholic tradition who would now consider themselves a nun, N-O-N-E, or a dun, or a nothing in particular. As you might imagine, I recommend it highly. Blessings to you and to your loved ones.